Hey gang, Uncle Todd and Sonny here. And that was quite the season finale of Doctor Who. And if it is the end of this series, because, ratings and such, complaints, quite a thing to go out on. Taking up where we left off, Doctor was falling, on a balcony. Balcony was falling when a door appears. Who is it? Why, it's Anita from the Time Hotel, if you remember back during the Christmas special. And she pulls him in, and we learn that she has been quite busy in the interim. And one of the things she likes to do on her days off is to use the Time Hotel to go and just look in on the Doctor through the different eras of his time. So we get a little montage of her seeing Matt Smith and John Pertwee. Really interesting stuff there. Anyway, the reality then switches back to the previous morning. Or that morning, I should say. And she explains that this has been going on over and over and over again. And the Doctor realizes that, that they are doing this to use the power of the wishes and everything, and the doubts and everything, to power up for their big plan to bring back Omega. Now he then goes to, using the Time Hotel, he then goes to the house where he and Belinda live, and he brings Belinda and Poppy into the Time Hotel. Now that's reality. Poppy still exists. How can that be? Isn't she created by the wish? Well, this will tie in later when the Doctor says Poppy is real. Although he doesn't seem to remember why. Anyway, they then head to Unit, where by keeping the door open of the Time Hotel, reality seeps in and everyone in Unit gets back their memories. And then all Unit agents, this includes Ruby, has a little biochip in their neck. And they send out a signal which causes all of the other agents, like Shirley, at the camp, and Ruby, to remember who they are and head for Unit. Now Ronnie goes to Connor. Using the baby's power, he is able to track down where the Doctor is. And Ronnie teleports there. And we learn the reason why she's wanting to bring Omega back into the world. She wants to bring back the Time Lords. Rebuild Gallifrey in her interpretation of, stop that, of what they should be. Hold on. Where was I? Oh yeah. Ronnie wants to bring back the Time Lords under her vision of what they should be. Considering she's kind of an outlaw to them. Much like Omega was, because he's the Mad God. Anyways, it's also revealed that Mrs. Flood is Ronnie as well. Okay. So, now that's all cleared up with everyone. And of course the Doctor, he's going to stop her, and he pulls out his sonic, and she pulls out her sonic, and she blasts his sonic, and it sparks, and he drops it. And then she teleports back to the Citadel she's operating from. Now, the Doctor has the technician. Wait a minute. What is her name? Susan Terrell. That's it. Yeah. Let me see. Triad. Susan Triad. Terrell. Anyway, she built a zero cube, which the interior remains outside time and space, like the inside of a TARDIS. And he's going to put Poppy in there so that if they do defeat the Ronnie and the Wish World ceases to exist, Poppy will still exist in there. Hopefully. Anyway, Linda's not going to go without her. She's not going to leave her daughter alone, so she goes into the cube too. If anything goes wrong, they'll be stuck there, but they'll be stuck together. Then the Doctor reveals that Ronnie didn't actually destroy his Sonic. He kind of tricked her. Actually, it downloaded her Sonic's codes, everything it's encoded with. And he suits up Ruby with a teleportation vest. And we also learned how the Ronnie escaped the destruction of all the Time Lords that the Doctor set up back during the Time War. She had a time bracelet, time ring, because her TARDIS, all the TARDISes but the Doctor's are destroyed. So, even though the Master seems to have one. So anyway, continuity's never been a big issue on Doctor Who. Anyway, then the Doctor, using the Ronnie's codes, brings her little rocket sled to Unit, and he heads off. Now the Ronnie has sent all the dinosaur robots to attack the Unit tower. So while this is going on, there's a big laser battle going on outside. And the Doctor crashes into the control room of the Citadel, knocking out the threshold, which is the force field she uses to protect the Citadel, which allows Ruby to teleport to Conrad, and she tries to reason with him. Well, the Doctor's too late. They now have enough energy, and they open the tomb of Omega. And Omega comes out, and he is this giant skeletal creature. And Ronnie doesn't understand. Shouldn't he be Omega? Gallifreyan robes and everything. The Doctor goes, no. He's been in the underworld. He's become a myth, a legend, the mad god, destroyer of worlds, the original sin. He's become all the legends that the universe have. And his first thing to do is promptly scoop up the Ronnie and swallow her whole. Her time ring falls off. And when the Doctor goes... And Omega says he's here to devour all the Time Lords and then the world. The universe, even. And the Doctor points to Mrs. Flood and says, oh, well, let me introduce you to another Time Lord. The Ronnie. But she grabs the ring and gets away. So we might see her again. Who knows? Then Ruby, using the teleporter, disappears and reappears on the other side of Conrad with the Wish Baby. And she wishes him to be happy. And he fades out. The Doctor, meanwhile, has found the what was that called? The Vindicator that he'd been taking all those readings with. It's been traveled all over the universe. It's absorbed the energy of thousands, millions of novas and other cosmic anomalies and things. And using that, he shoots a huge blast at the at Omega, and Omega is forced back into his tomb, and it's locked, and he's back where he needs to be. Meanwhile, Ruby wishes the end of the wish world, and so the Citadel starts to disappear. Ruby ends up in the TARDIS. That was what the Ronnie was using to power the wishes and a comrade. They were in the actual TARDIS, which was made up as a nursery. And the Doctor finds the TARDIS and he runs in. And what he is about to do could cause Poppy to not exist. But he has to do it. He wishes there were no more wishes. Takes the TARDIS back to unit, and everybody races to the Zero Cube, and they open it. Belinda's there, and so is Poppy, so she exists. Well, that's all well and good. The Doctor drops the Wish Baby off at Ruby's mother's house. Can't think of a better person to raise her, or raise him. And they name him Joseph, after the grandmother's husband. Well, now that the Doctor has a baby, he's going to have to change his lifestyle, and he and Belinda are talking about taking Poppy to see everything in the world, and Belinda's going to travel with the Doctor, and it's all going to be great. And then Poppy disappears, and then her crib disappears, and the Doctor and Belinda, they have no idea what Ruby's talking about. Poppy, there's no Poppy, they don't know a Poppy. And I go back to Unit to see how everyone in Unit's doing, and nobody at Unit remembers a child named Poppy. They have found Conrad. He is now a chef at a little pub in a small town. No one remembers his time as Conrad, or I mean, his the head of the terrorist organization or anything. And there's some other little changes. The border of Norway and Sweden's shifted like 15 miles, and teal is more bluer, and this causes Ruby to realize there is another reality. It's just slightly off from theirs. And she explains about Poppy and who Poppy was. And the Doctor realizes, oh, okay, I've got to fix that. And so he rushes into the TARDIS. And he takes off. And he's come up with a plan. And he doesn't like the plan. As he says, I really liked this face. So he realized the plan's very dangerous and he may regenerate. Then Jodie Whittaker's Doctor appears, and, in all her bitchy glory. Well, I shouldn't say bitchy, but her non-stop talking. It seems the current Doctor had created a schism in time, and she's kind of bled through. And he explains that he's going to shoot a lot of regeneration energy into the vortex. It will shatter it'll shatter the schism, and it should put everything right, and Poppy will then exist. Well, the Doctor thinks that's completely mad, but she's willing to go and help with it. She gives him some help in the alignment and everything, and well, they after giving each other compliments, she starts to fade out. She's heading back to her own timeline, and then the Doctor pulls regeneration energy out of himself and shoots it through the TARDIS, and this causes a huge shattering effect, and he wakes up in a garden, Belinda comes out. Now he's starting to regenerate, but he's holding it off. And Belinda comes out and says, does he want to see Poppy? And he's like, yes, of course. And he runs to Poppy, and all this is great. And Belinda thanks him for getting her home before the 24th, or before the morning of the 24th, because she had to get home to Poppy. And because she works nights and her mom works days, so her mom has to go to work, so she has to get home before that to take care of Poppy. Poppy's her daughter. She's always been Belinda's daughter. Father was a guy named Richie. And then we get all this montage of flashbacks where many references she had made to Poppy. I gotta get home to Poppy. Poppy's waiting for me. I'd like to introduce you to Poppy. You'd like her. And telling him about Richie and how it just didn't work out, but they remained friends and they still see each other time to time. And then the doctor does a quick scan of Poppy, and she is all human. And he's very sad about this because it was revealed during the Ronnie's exchange with the doctor and unit that Time Lords cannot reproduce. They are sterile. That's one of the drawbacks of being practically immortal in the regeneration and everything. They don't need to reproduce because they reproduce themselves in a way. And he's very sad, but in a way it all makes sense. That's why Poppy was there. That's why Poppy didn't cease to exist until the schism caused her to go somewhere else. And he says his goodbyes, says the next time he sees her, maybe when Poppy's older, it won't be with this face, but she'll understand then. It's too long to explain. And then he goes off into space, opens up the TARDIS doors to look at Joy, who, if you remember the Christmas episode, is a star now. And he regenerates into Rose Tyler, the first companion of the new Doctor Who run. Does this explain why she was with the War Doctor, I wonder? If you remember that Christmas episode where Matt Smith and David Tennant met John Hurt's Doctor. Who knows? If we get another season, will she be the official Doctor, or will this be some transition into the next, the 16th Doctor? Who knows? It's a great way to end it, though. And sure shocked me. But really good episode. I did not expect Orion to be defeated so quickly. Didn't expect the extra 20 to 30 minutes of extra story that they had. But really good, and really enjoyed it. Great way to end the season. And maybe this is a way of getting more interest in Doctor Who so that they can have another season. Fingers crossed, gang. Please hit like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.